We treat our energy like a smartphone battery. When we are exhausted, we think it's because we didn't charge it long enough, so we follow the classical troubleshooting manual. Get 8 hours of sleep, drink more water, cut the processed sugar, take vitamins. Very good advice. But what if you do all of that and you're still exhausted? Maybe we lack energy because we are adults now, and this is what adults get? It's more about some learned habits, not about growing up. You know the sensation. It's Wednesday afternoon, you haven't actually done anything wrong, you slept, you ate, you've technically been productive, but as you stare at your laptop, you feel like you're trying to run through wet cement. You feel the physical heaviness of a marathon runner, but all you've done is send 5 emails and quietly avoid one difficult conversation. It has nothing to do with laziness, that's your system being asked to track too much, process too much, and close nothing for hours. You are not out of energy, you are out of capacity. There are 5 habits behind that feeling. A few might be obvious, but some are very likely running in your background right now. The first one hits before your day even starts. We think about sleep as a quantity problem. I need 8 hours. Fine. But your circadian rhythm doesn't just care about how much sleep you get, it cares when. People go to sleep at 10 one night, 12 the next, at 2 a.m. on weekends, then try to become a responsible citizen again on Monday. When your bedtime shifts by 2 or 3 hours between weekdays and weekends, you are forcing your internal clock to live in 2 time zones at once. Researchers call this social jet lag. Your body loves prediction. It wants to know when to release the hormones that make you alert, when to wind you down, when to repair, when to consolidate memory. If your schedule keeps changing, your body doesn't know what shift it's working. And if you think that 12 hours sleep on Sunday will pay the debt, well, it's confusing the rhythm even more. The only thing that's working is a consistent sleep-wake window. Go to bed and wake up more or less at the same time. Consistency does more for your energy than volume ever will. It's boring, but it works. Which leads to a more invisible drain. The second habit, open loops. The email you still need to answer, the appointment you haven't booked, the awkward conversation you need to have, the thing you said yes to and now you don't want to do. There is a well-documented psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect. That is your brain refusing to let go of unfinished tasks. Your mind does not like unresolved commitments, so it keeps them active. It's like having 29 tabs open in your browser. You may only be looking at one, but the machine is still working to keep the others alive. This is why you might feel exhausted before doing any difficult work. You're already spending energy to track, remember, and avoid lots of things. Okay, you might say, this is what it's like to be alive. Well, you can plug the hole so it doesn't leak energy anymore. The mind is a great place for having ideas, but a terrible place for holding them. Move every should, need to, or might from your head to a piece of paper, or whatever you use. The moment you write it down and define the simplest next physical step, like call the clinic at 10 a.m., your brain gets permission to let go. It will stop spending energy holding on to something the moment it trusts that the task is stored somewhere safe. The third habit, self-criticism, doesn't even look like an energy problem. If you're a high achiever or a perfectionist, which if you watch this far you probably are, there is a good chance you hear non-stop an internal narrator that sounds like a drill sergeant. I'm behind, I should be doing more, why am I so distracted? We think this voice is motivating. In reality, it's just stopping us. Biologically, your brain interprets chronic self-criticism as a physical threat. It releases cortisol and puts your nervous system on high alert. You become tense, avoidant, vigilant, less fluid. You are literally spending your finite daily energy defending yourself against your own thoughts. Nothing dramatic even has to happen. That's what makes it so draining. The exhaustion comes from bracing, not from impact. Just reframe mistakes as neutral information. A mistake is not a sign that you're falling behind. It's just a data point to be adjusted. When you stop attacking yourself, the energy previously spent on vigilance suddenly becomes available for action. And then there is this fourth habit, which nobody wants to admit is a problem, because it feels harmless. Attention fragmentation. You check a message, open an email, jump to another tab, look at the news for a second, check social media for 11 seconds, and somehow emerge 4 minutes later knowing that a stranger in Denmark is divorcing a man who breeds lizards. Modern life is full of these tiny attentional thefts, and each one looks trivial. But every time you switch tasks, there is a cost. Your brain has to disengage from one context, shift, and re-establish focus in another. Researchers say it takes up to 20 minutes to have your attention re-engaged after an interruption. 20 minutes! You're just spending an enormous percentage of your mental energy on transitions rather than the tasks themselves. So at 5 p.m. it feels like you worked all day and accomplished nothing meaningful. Not because you're lazy, because your mind spent the day changing lanes every 10 meters. You need to protect your attention. but not the willpower, this one is not working. Only environment design. Longer blocks of uninterrupted time, phone in another room, fewer context switches. You don't have to become a monk, but you are not a public park either, where people can walk through whenever they want. And the last fifth habit can be sneaky, because it feels like self-improvement. We've been tricked into believing that consuming information is the same thing as making progress. Think about what a typical day of learning looks like. Podcasts, articles, videos, newsletters, clips, notes, advice. It feels productive, it feels like growth, but consuming content all day without ever creating, deciding, or applying anything based on it creates a form of mental inflammation. It's like eating 6 meals a day and never moving. Eventually you're not enriched, you're bloated. This creates a burnout-like feeling even if you haven't actually done anything hard. Your brain needs an output valve, it needs to put somewhere what it's holding. The reframe is simple. For every piece of content you consume, you must produce one application, one decision, one written thought. Stop collecting and start digesting. So what do all these 5 habits have in common? They look different on the surface, but underneath they're the same. None of them are energy problems. They're all load management problems. It's not that you're weak or that you need to become optimized, more disciplined, more heroic. No, it's that your nervous system is being asked to hold, track, process and revisit too much all day with almost no break. That's why effort itself is often not what drains us. It's friction, ambiguity, background noise, the things that we never fully close. Once you start seeing energy as a load management problem, not just a fuel problem, a lot of your life starts making more sense. Your brain is super good at managing energy if you let it. Don't look for more energy, instead ask how much of it is quietly going somewhere you never decided to spend it on.